I'm recording this on the 7th anniversary of this YouTube channel. That's 7 years since I worked out that Google Video probably wasn't the way to go. And I'm going to review what is the item I've been requested to review the most over the years. And it's really not very nice. I've been putting it off for months, and if you've read the title, you can probably guess why. Yep, it's a pop station. Rather than ripping off handheld electronic games that really exist, it's kind of ripping off human misery and tragedy with Laden versus USA. Clearly a obvious reference to Osama bin Laden and the United States of America, specifically the September the 11th attacks on the World Trade Center, where some maniacs flew some passenger aircraft full of people into some buildings full of people and murdered a whole lot of said people. Deary me, stay classy, Chinese rip-off merchants. Yeah, and they're really not shying away from what they're referencing it with repeated photos of Osama bin Laden, George W. Bush, screen caps of the World Trade Center being hit there, and they've helpfully photoshopped in another aircraft, just in case you didn't know what was going on, some sort of explosion at the bottom. Ages 5+. Yeah, I think that's a bit academic, isn't it, really? Deary blimey me, there's actual real people dying in that building, possibly people you knew or relatives. How absolutely grotesque. Right, well, I don't really know what they were thinking with this. Were they thinking, wow, better cash in on this latest news trend? Were they thinking, hey, let's give the Americans something to play so they can feel like they're fighting back? I doubt it. They just thought they could make some money off it, didn't they? I should point out, actually, that despite the way the title is written, you actually play as America attempting to defend against bin Laden. Actually, that's not true. You play an entirely irrelevant game, but I think that's kind of what they were going for. So, on the back, more actual pictures of real death. Thanks for that, lads. Right. This game is divided into 20 levels. No, it isn't. Every level is arranged 3 rounds, and 2 rounds of them will win. No, they won't. The game automatically passes and promotes. No, it doesn't. What's more, the inspiring music will play during the game. No, it won't. Basically, these instructions are for a different game. They appear to be for a game about fighting, presumably the classic pop station game City Fighter, which bears no resemblance to the game they've actually put on this unit. There are many kinds of boxing models accompanied. No, there aren't. For example, the light or heavy boxing, the light or heavy savate, and the light or heavy hit. The energy of fighter will be showed in the process of boxing. No, it's a different game. Every fighter has 7 lives. The sound effect is followed during the boxing. The higher the level of game is, the more difficult the game becomes. Players can slowly realise this feeling in the process of game. Yeah, that one probably is relevant. Caution, batteries, batteries, batteries. Also caution, this is clearly grotesque. Blimey, oh crikey, O'Reilly. What a thing. Very hard to comment on this, full stop, isn't it? Because it's just so sort of abhorrent on so many levels. But hey, it's a real thing, and I do try and cover all pop stations, so here we go. Blimey. Osama bin Laden, as he was. Never really could understand. I mean, if you're going to commit some sort of absolutely horrifying atrocity in the name of terrorism, and, you know, be behind the scenes with it, wouldn't it be a good idea to stay behind the scenes and not allow yourself to be used as the poster boy for it and appear in videos going, oh, look, we killed all these people and we're going to do it again? You're literally turning yourself into the biggest target for the Western world. Did he have no common sense? The hell was going through his mind? Well, a bullet eventually, but there we are. That's the way it was going, wasn't it? Blimey, crikey, Gao Ming. Are you pleased with yourselves? Mind you, did Gao Ming actually make this? Because if you look at it, it's just kind of a generic unit that somebody has stuck a different picture in the back and put a sticker on. The picture on the back being, again, of what appears to be the World Trade Center collapsing, with a bit of Photoshop. Oh, crikey, I've just spotted not only have they photoshopped a passenger aircraft, but some sort of fighter aircraft into it. You're not fooling anybody, you know. Well, thanks, Gao Ming. 2 AA batteries. No, AAA. They're not particularly relevant. Well, the thing is, those of you familiar with pop station games will realise there is only one pop station game, or of the old ones at least, which actually has aircraft in. It's a game usually called Submarine Invasion, and that's what they've put on this. When we press start, we're going to play a game that's pretending to be you defending the World Trade Center from attacks from the Taliban, etc., when in fact you will have a submarine at the bottom of the screen inexplicably flying around New York, which will shoot aircraft. Not passenger aircraft, but fighter aircraft, which are dropping some kind of bomb on you. So the game bears absolutely no resemblance to anything of use. Or indeed, what it's supposed to. And the speaker's blowing up. Brilliant. Thanks. Alright, let's get this over with. Start. There's my submarine, presumably piloted by George W. Bush himself. You have to press in his nostrils one of the controls. And yeah, loads of aircraft come in dropping lines on you, and you fire your own lines back at them. And if it hits them, they disappear. If it doesn't hit them, they don't. If one of their lines hits you, you disappear. Do you see how that goes? Also notice that New York seems to be submerged underwater, judging by the small effect they have at the bottom. This is literally just submarine invasion. They could have not made a lazier attempt at a game. Deary crikey me. Shall we stop playing it now? Yes. Oh, dirty. Blimey. Well, that's one of the worst things I've ever seen to cash in on something horrible. Don't really know how to describe it other than it's a crap game with a really horrible idea behind it. Go over there and fester. If you want to see a slightly different version of that game, just to prove that it is indeed something they've completely plastered into it, if you're not familiar with the pop stations, here's something called Combat Commander, which again, it's been covered in fluff, is also just the submarine invasion game with slightly different music. Where do we start? Slightly different music, as I said, but here we go. Exactly the same game, just with more beeping. Torpedo forward and missile into the sky. I'm not actually sure why you have the torpedo. I can't remember enemy submarines coming along. Maybe they do, but the game's so shite, nobody's ever played it long enough to find out. It's just a jerking mass of stupidity. But hey, at least it's not pretending to be something to do with a major terrorist atrocity. I was going to say, how do we shut this up? The answer seems to be we don't. Let's shove it there, so it gets a bit quieter. Well, there we go. Shut up. Excuse me while I throw this across the room. It is shaped a bit like a boomerang. There, the batteries came out. That silenced it. Well, there we go. That is Laden versus USA. And finally, I've got it out of the bloody way. Hopefully I can find a slightly less abhorrent pop station for the next time. Is this actually a trend amongst these sort of rip-off games and things? Have they actually produced other things in line with horrifying news events in an attempt to cash in on it, or is this the only one? I'm going to be brutally honest, I don't want to find out. This is going to go and sit in a dark drawer and rot, which I think is probably the best place for it.